Good morning. Have a blessed day. Children, hope you are all doing well. Today we are going to see Russian Revolution and League of Nations. Outbreak of World War I and its aftermath. Revolution. What do you mean by revolution? It's a violent action through a mass of society against anything, especially against the prevailing government. Russian Revolution and its impacts. It's the biggest outcome of the war, affected Russia in all circumstances. The World War I left a deep scar in the minds of people. Okay, this revolution has been taken in 2 months in the same year 1917. One in March, that is for the abdication of Tsar, the bourgeois government. The next one in November for the seizing of power by Lenin and establishing communist government in Russia. Be careful with the year, children. Causes for the Russian Revolution: Peter the Great, Catherine II, Tsar Alexander II. During these three princes ruling, the peasants in Russia suffered a lot. They were under the control of Swedes for a long period. But these three rulers never worried about the peasants. Finally, when the peasants were rising against them, Tsar Alexander II abolished serfdom and emancipated the peasants. Even though they were relieved from serfdom, they were not given enough land. So they become the key powder of revolution. What's the meaning of key powder? They were the one to start the revolution. With them, the laborers and the workers also joined because they were aggrieved for their low wages. Okay, what was the role of revolutionaries? Revolutionaries started to spread their ideas among the people. This was not liked by Tsar government. The government also encouraged the students to spread their propaganda to the peasants. In course of time, these students were started to have terrorism. In other hand, Marxism ideas took shape and encouraged the society in mass action against the prevailing government. All these happened in the previous ruling of Tsar Nicholas II. Now let's see Tsar Nicholas II. Okay. In his period only, the Russian Revolution taken into a full form. Autocracy of Tsar. Tsar Nicholas II had little experience of government, who was dominated by his wife Tsarina Alexandria and surrounded by flatterers. In 1902, we can see his family. In 1902, Father Gapin organized a mass action which led into riots and a bomb blast. In this bomb blast, Tsar Nicholas II's uncle have been killed. Nicholas thus granted Duma government which was in the favor of middle class. But the left wing opposed it. The left wing, it's in the sense it's another part of political group. So dear children, when this was like this, whenever the Duma opposed the Tsar move, it was dissolved and fresh elections were being made. You know very well, during the scramble of colonies in the First World War, before the First World War, Russo-Japanese War have been started and Russia has been utter defeated. Popular uprising. It was started by women workers. There was a short period when the women workers have started with this popular uprising. Why all these have been happened? Because the Russian people have been left with famine. So women, no other go, they started to raise their voice against the Tsar government. Bread for workers. And immediately by the very next day it has been become the mass movement, and every laborers and the workers have joined this and started to oppose the Tsar Nicholas II's ruling. It has been told that of about 4 millions of people have joined in this mass action. You can see the picture over there with the ladies, that is with the workers and with the laborers. Abdication of Tsar. Now, what's the meaning of abdication? Tsar have been pulled down from his position, from his ruling, removal of his power. Okay. Tsar government ordered his troops to break the strike through martial law, but no soldiers were there to obey the law. Meanwhile, Tsar Nicholas II wanted to return back to his palace through train, but his workers stopped the train in between because of the workers' strike. Now no other go. He was left all alone. That's why he wanted to abdicate his position. We can see some of the newspaper cuttings during the Russian Revolution in 1917. It's too pity to see Tsar Nicholas II because he lost his golden opportunity. Well, what has been happened after Nicholas II's position? Now it's time for the Lenin to take up the leadership. He made an entry through Bolshevik party and decided to start immediate revolution. This was the second Russian Revolution in November. Lenin's leadership. Lenin believed in Karl Marx's ideas, that is, with the Marxism ideas. What was the idea? The mass action. If anyone wanted to get freedom from anything, they have to move on with mass action. In those days, there was two political parties. One is Mensheviks and the other one is Bolsheviks. Both were the opposing parties. Lenin have been joined in Bolsheviks because this was with the workers' community people. So his slogan in Bolshevik party was bread, peace and land. Also, Lenin's advantage against the prevailing government, great mistake. What was that advantage? The provincial government have delayed in distributing the land for the poor peasants. The second mistake is to continue the war in the First World War. But Lenin disagreed this. So when he was in the Bolshevik party, he just gave up these two. The frustrated peasants started to revolt against the provisional government. Thus, Lenin started an immediate action as revolt. Trotsky's detailed plan. He was one of the friend or one of the supporter of Bolshevik party. So he planned in a detailed manner to make Lenin as the leader in the Bolshevik party, and they achieved it. This Bolshevik party later have been renamed as Russian Communist Party. What was the outcome of revolution? The revolution eliminated illiteracy and poverty. This was the first step taken by the Lenin. And the next one, industries and agriculture had developed remarkably. Women were given equal rights. The right to vote also has been given to the women. Land has been distributed to the poor peasants equally. Also, Lenin withdrew from World War I by the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk with Germany. Thus, the Communist Party, the Russian Communist Party, have been started in full-fledged. What was the highlight? Yes, of course, Russian Communist Party was the talk throughout the world. Not only that, many countries started to form Communist Party in their own countries. Paris Peace Conference. This has been started by the important personalities of the country USA, England and France. So with their ideas, the League of Nations has been started. League of Nations. The Covenant of League was drawn at Paris Peace Conference in 1919. The master plan was Woodrow Wilson, the President of America. There were some of the permanent members who have right to vote also. What were the objectives of League of Nations? The first one is to avoid war, and the second one to maintain peace, the third one to promote cooperation among the membership nations. Also, the League acted as conciliator and arbitrator. What was conciliator and arbitrator? Conciliator, to convince the problem, the dispute among the countries. Arbitrator is to act as a mediator. Activities of League of Nations. League solved all the disputes between the countries. The frontier problems are settled. averted the war. When there was any problem between the countries, the war have been averted. The Locarno Treaty formed the membership for the League of Nations in 1925. So which led to the mutual peace between the countries. The violation of League of Nations. You know very well the problems have been solved by the peace talks. But some of the countries have been started to increase their weapons, that is especially with the nuclear weapon. This is what we call as disarmament, not to use disarmament, not to use nuclear weapons. But slow by slow, every country have been increasing their nuclear weapons secretly. So no other go, they were to resign their job from the League of Nations. So thus League was dissolved in 1946. What was the causes for the failure of League of Nations? It was formed and worked only by the victorious nations and not for the defeated countries. So if they talk about the peace, that peace have to be maintained throughout the membership country. But since it was in the hands of victorious nations, they never worried about the defeated countries. The League has no military of its own, so it was unable to enforce their decision. And no collective security. The safe and security was not given to throughout the League of membership. Italy, Japan and Germany have been headed by the dictators. So they never wanted to obey League of Nations. They have come out of the League. Thus, League failed. Okay, now we have end this World War I and be careful with the lesson what you have learned. Thank you. Today's homework: Russian Revolution, League of Nations. Children, be ready with all the World War I homework on Saturday evening. Here is the answers you see.